Now we'll have our last student presentation by Justine Wu from California, which focuses on water. With the help of students, the Thirst Project raised over $9 million and delivered clean water to over 350,000 people. Justine, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Justine Wu, and I'm here representing Thirst Project this year. To start off with a little bit about myself, I'm from Cerritos, a small city in Southern California, and I'm currently a fourth quarter senior attending Gretchen Whitney High School. Ever since the day I was dragged by my friends to sign up for the middle school Model United Nations Club run by two super intimidating seniors, I've been involved in the Model United Nations program. And just like that, it has been 5 whole years. Throughout these 5 years, I've attended conference after conference, and our school has also hosted yearly conferences where I would either serve as the head or vice chair since 9th grade. When I was in 8th grade, the first MUN conference I attended was actually about potable water, which you might know as safe drinking water. There, I learned the importance of having access to clean water, and this ultimately jump-started my deep interest of solving the global water crisis. During my sophomore year, I attended a Key Club convention at the Anaheim Convention Center. Key Club is a high school student-led service organization. At the convention, I happened to attend the seminar that was held by Thirst Project, and immediately after their emotionally touching and inspiring presentation, where they thoroughly explained their work and why we must take action to end the global water crisis, I knew I had to approach them in hopes of working with them in the future. As you can tell by my introduction, today I'll be speaking about the Sustainable Development Goal number 6, Thirst Project, and how you can become involved to help end the global water crisis. Sustainable Development Goal number 6 wants to achieve, I quote, universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all by the year 2030. To ensure sanitation and accessibility to clean water, SDG 6 works to provide safe and clean drinking water to everyone everywhere, even in the most rural communities. This is where Thirst Project plays into the picture. Thirst Project is currently the world's largest youth water organization. They build freshwater wells in developing countries through the education and activation of students. They also spend time traveling across the country on school tours to give free 40-minute presentations to educate students about the global water crisis, and then challenging students to take action with Thirst Project in unique ways. To put a greater emphasis on the water crisis, the International Decade Resolution was adopted by the United Nations to focus on water for the next 10 years, beginning in March of 2018 until March of 2028. Meanwhile, in order to take action around SDGs in general, Thirst Project has implemented a 3-step process for students to take and use. The first step is youth awareness. Many and most students in high school aren't even aware of the SDGs implemented by the United Nations. As a student leader, it is my job to help students become aware of the SDGs, the fact that they exist, and the global issues that they concern. The second step is peer-to-peer education. After making my peers aware of the SDGs and the global issues we currently face, it is our job to educate our peers to give them a deeper understanding of these issues. However, even these presentations, documentaries, and lessons aren't enough to paint the whole picture of these issues, such as the global water crisis and its existence. This is how we bring in the third step of the process. After students are aware of the water crisis and understand it with depth, it is our time to actually do something about it. I want to share a bit about my experiences, which made me realize how just one person can make a difference. To continue my story from earlier, after receiving the contact information of the Thirst Project presenters at that Key Club convention I attended back in my sophomore year, I invited Thirst Project to speak to my small school to our student body. Both students and teachers alike were inspired. After the presentation, we did something called Miracle Minute, where a student would run around the room with a bucket and try to collect as much money as possible in 1 minute. Within that 1 minute, our students collected over $180 to donate to Thirst Project. Because of this one presentation, it sparked the interest of students throughout campus, and before I knew it, it became Key Club's main goal of their term: Shanti Club, which is our Indian Cultural Club's main charity of donation, and most importantly, our Model United Nations program's ideal and favorite organization to partner with. My high school hosts MUN conferences each year, and within the past few years, we have invited Thirst Project to come to educate students about what they are able to do to end the water crisis. And along with that, the money that we earn through gram sales during the conference all gets donated to Thirst Project as well. In just a couple of months, our school became on board with Thirst Project. For World Water Day, we had Daisy gram sales to raise money, and we even dedicated a whole week to the water crisis called Thirst Project Week, in which we not only raised money to donate to Thirst Project, but also educated students about safe and affordable drinking water. Some easy projects and ideas that you can do to help include Miracle Minute, which I mentioned earlier, Walk for Water, a banquet dinner, and Change the World with Thirst Project. Walk for Water is similar to a 5K run or walk, but instead, student leaders simulate what it's like for millions of women and children each day to walk miles and miles just to fetch water. The banquet is when you choose a specific type of food or dinner and invite students to dress up and attend. The dinner is also an opportunity for students to give speeches about the water crisis. Students can pay to get into the dinner, and any money that is earned can be donated to Thirst Project. Finally, Change the World with Thirst Project is just a simple project of challenging students to collect change where every dollar collected goes towards building a water project. Water isn't just a basic necessity of life, but it also has a huge impact on all the other SDGs as well, which makes SDG 6 so relevant. For example, clean water touches base with SDG 2, which is zero hunger. Ultimately, you can't have a sustainable food source without a sustainable water source. Another SDG that is affected by SDG 6 is SDG 3 that focuses on good health and well-being. We could save the lives of thousands of people each day from completely preventable waterborne diseases if we eliminate the global water crisis. It's hard to believe, but there are still many students who walk miles a day just to fetch water and as a result are unable to attend school or aren't able to attend because they get sick from waterborne diseases. This correlates directly with SDG 4 of quality education. Gender equality, which is SDG 5, is also affected by lack of potable water. The task of collecting water typically falls only on the young women and girls in the family and community. Finally, if we don't meet SDG 6, it would interfere with SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth. There are women who walk hours a day to fetch water, and so they miss out on the opportunity to work to provide for their families. Because Thirst Project believes that clean water impacts almost every aspect of community life and development, they have set a goal to end the water crisis in an entire country. That country being the nation of Eswatini, which was previously known as Swaziland. Swazi 2022 is a 10-year goal to raise $50 million to give the entire country of Eswatini, of about 1.4 million people, access to clean water. With Swazi 2022, they hope to use it to create a case study to measure how water actually impacts all aspects of life and development. Student involvement is a huge part of this journey to end the water crisis. There are students all over the world using their voice and leveraging their influence for good. Thirst Project continues to build a movement of young people around the world who are committed to ending the global water crisis. On top of that, a super rewarding experience is the Africa trip. Thirst Project takes students into the field every year to see the impact of their work firsthand by taking them to visit the communities that they have raised money to build a freshwater well. Throughout the years, student impact has been significant. The numbers on the screen are slightly outdated, but in just 10 years, 400,000 students have raised $10 million giving clean water to over 380,000 people in 13 different countries. The countries that Thirst Project is currently active in are Eswatini, Kenya, Uganda, El Salvador, and India. As cliche as this may sound, We are the future, and to make a difference, it starts with you. Your actions can change the lives of people worldwide. By educating your family, friends, and community, and leading them to reduce pollution in water, save our already scarce amount of water, and raise money to bring communities access to clean water, you are saving millions of lives and helping us reach Sustainable Development Goal number 6 of clean water and sanitation. Thank you very much. I'm now happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. Yes. It's okay, go ahead.
All right. So I just have a question. I'm really glad that Thirst Project is doing this work, but I was just wondering if building wells is the right way to tackle the problem at hand, because underwater resources are also subject to depletion. So why does Thirst Project promote? I mean, why do you guys build wells, and why do you think that's the best way to go about it?
Well, Thirst Project actually spends a lot of time testing their groundwater, including like water quality tests and groundwater surveys to test the standards of sustainability. So all the wells that they build, they've all tested, and they also train the local community to teach them how to maintain these wells and use it. So after building all of these wells, we've built over 2,600 water projects, and we've tested them to last for over 40 plus years. So they've worked in communities, and they've been able to really bring communities access to clean water, seeing that there are many communities who just travel miles just to find a water source that are contaminated with dirt and waterborne diseases. There's bugs, bacteria. And so after all these surveys and these tests, Thirst Project have concluded that these wells have been very efficient in providing people with clean water. Okay. Person on the right. Yeah. On the right. Yeah, that. You, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, is this thing? Yes. Okay. Yeah, go. Hi, thank you for your presentation. So I'm a junior at Aviation High School, and one of the clubs I'm a part of is Science Leadership and Robotics. One of the projects that we have is Project H2O. So what we do is we basically hold events, and we try to raise as much funds as we can, so we could try to get water purifiers so that we could send it to different parts of the world where clean access of water is almost unavailable. So we've done it in South Africa. Recently, we've done it to Puerto Rico and Zimbabwe as well. So I was wondering, like, in attempts of getting funds, or in attempts of getting, like, people to start to actually, like, hey, we're doing this, or hey, we're trying to get awareness for this, not a lot of people, like know what they're what's going on, or like they don't know of the crisis, or they don't heed much attention to this. So like, what's something that we could say to get people's attention, or like people to understand that there's crises and that sometimes we overlook what we have and the necessities that we have?
Thank you for the great question. I think that's a really important point that you made, because we often take advantage, or we take it for granted, like the water that we have. And what I did to start off this conversation at my school was I invited a Thirst Project representative to our school to speak to our students, and we received a good turnout. All we had to say was that, there's a water crisis, and students that attended realized the impact that we are able to make. And I understand that it's difficult to start up conversations like this, but small things like activities that you guys can do. Like I was saying earlier, we held daisy gram sales. So we bought a bunch of daisies, and gram sales are very common amongst high school students. So we said, you can buy gram sales and send it to any of your friends, and we said that this money is going towards the Thirst Project, and we told them what we are funding for. And as soon as they knew what their money was going towards, they immediately became aware of the situation. And it's just like small actions like these. It starts just in your family or your community, just in your school, and just doing small events and activities during the school day is really helpful, I think, just to start these conversations and make people aware. Yes.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you for the presentation. I'm also a part of the FRC robotics team, and also contribute to the Project H2O project. And so, well, one of our one of our main goals is to raise the most amount of money in each year, so that we can send at least one purifier to a country that needs it. And so we buy our purifiers from AquaSun, which go about for $2,500. And so, do you have any advice or any methods to maximize our donations or get sponsors from big companies or organizations that can provide us with the money to buy those purifiers?
Yeah, so that's I think that's really great what you're doing. I think it's really inspiring. So what we have done to help raise money in the past is just for any projects in general, but specifically for us, it was the water project. We held a whole week at our school called Thirst Project Week, where we had, in our homerooms, we had a bottle, like a clear plastic water bottle, and we emptied out the water from the water bottle. And we just passed it around our homerooms and tried to collect donations for a whole week, and we were able to raise like $1,000 in just 1 week. You can always do simple things like I mentioned earlier, Daisy gram sales. You can also do walk for water, like I was saying, how you simulate what it's like for people to walk, for millions of women and children to walk miles and miles just to fetch water. Just simple things like that, and educating your peers and educating your students about the water crisis will naturally just draw attention to the cause and will really be able to help you with donations.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll have to wrap up now. The Q&A time is up. Sorry to interrupt you. You mic? The mic.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Justine, and thank you to the audience for your questions. And I'm really happy to hear that there are people taking initiatives to help other people in other countries, even my country. So shout out, because we recently had the cholera outbreak. And we are made up of 70% of water, so I think it's in our interest to make sure that we've got access to good and safe water, as well as affordable access, so not that only those who can afford it can access it.